Okay, so before we get started talking about XLReporter, I'd just like to give a quick overview of the Ewon configuration for connectivity, I/O servers, tags, and data access. So I'm looking at the configuration main homepage of the Ewon, which you get to just by plugging in the IP address of the device into your web browser. And the first thing that you would do here, if you haven't yet connected your Ewon to the internet, is go through the setup wizards available at the top right of the home page, beginning with the system wizard. So this one will allow you to change the default name and password, which is strongly recommended by HMS for obvious security reasons, and also enables the date and time settings. And we recommend setting the time zone to the local time zone where the Ewon's installed, as this will make reporting from the data down the line much easier. Next, you would run the Internet configuration wizard, so you'd select Ethernet or whichever interface you're using to connect to the Internet. And then you would run the VPN wizard and select Configure Talk to M Connectivity. Now you can grab the activation key associated with the Ewon in eCatcher, or you can register just by defining the account information and the Ewon name that you'd like to use. Now, if you're already using your Ewon Flexy for remote access, then you've probably already done this setup, so you can skip this part if that's the case. Now, the next thing that you would do here to begin collecting data is enable an I/O server. So in terms of the I/O servers that are available, you have Ewon, you have standard interfaces like Modbus, OPC UA, SNMP, and you also have native connectors for the common PLC vendors like Allen Bradley, Siemens, Mitsubishi, and more. Now, once you select a format, you basically just specify the information about the IP of the hardware that you're connecting to and specify a pull rate. Once you've defined an I/O server, you can begin defining tags. And so with Ewon tags, each tag has an associated I/O server, obviously. These are simulators, but you would select whichever I/O server you're using. Then you would give the tag a name, an address, assign the data type, and then define the historical logging. Now here for this demo system, I'm actually logging the tag data pretty slowly, every 1800 seconds or every 30 minutes. But ideally, or it's actually recommended from the reporting side to use the deadband logging, because when you think about a distributed IoT application, you could end up with a large number of devices, and each of those devices might have a large number of tags, and so this helps you control the amount of data that you're generating in the cloud data mailbox. Now you can also enable alarm setup, which gives you up to 4 thresholds, an alarm hint, and you have concepts like automatic acknowledgement and activation delay and deadband as well. Once you have the tags set up with historical logging and or alarm logging, then the next step is to configure access to the data. So if you're using the Ewon locally with XLReporter, then you would enable the OPC UA server here. And XLReporter supports either the username and password or the anonymous login types. And then when you connect to the UA server down the line in the reporting application, you would just have to trust the certificate of the XLReporter machine here on this menu. Now, if you're using the Ewon remote to XLReporter, then you would open up the data management page and configure the historical data upload to the cloud data mailbox here. And you can enable this just by enabling historical data. If you have certain tags, with the mailbox or the OPC UA server that you wouldn't like to expose to these interfaces, then you can use the tag group function. And once you have the setup wizards complete and you have the I/O server, the tags, and the data access configured, you're ready to go and begin using your Ewon data with XLReporter.